All right, let's dive on in. Thank you so much for joining me today. Very respectful of your time. What we're going to be doing is talking about starting and growing an advisory offering in your practice. I'm going to share my screen. What we're talking about today is actually advisory where you can charge good money for it. So many of you are giving away advisory for free, or you're nervous to charge for it, or you think that you have to spend loads and loads and loads of years with compliance clients and then move into advisory. You have quite a little bit of fear around it. So what I would like to do today is just give you some ideas and some thinking around it, how to launch and grow an advisory practice. You don't need to have the compliance work first. If you've been working in practice or been working in industry beforehand, you'll have experience. You don't have to wait to start adding advisory. So for those of you who are new to me, which I don't think actually many of you are, let me know in the chat box if you're a newbie, #newbie. Let me know if you're an oldie, #oldie. An oldie is you've been to a webinar before. A newbie is this is your first webinar with me, please. That would be great. I'll give you a very quick overview. I'm Amanda C. Watts. If you're here, you've probably either been on my email list for years or we've been connected on LinkedIn, but never actually conversed. I know I've been inviting a few people from LinkedIn to come to my webinars. So if that is you, welcome, welcome, welcome. And thank you for joining me. The thing that I specialize in is working with accountants, bookkeepers, and CFOs and help you put together advisory offers, complete, unique methodologies that are your experience, your education, who you are, and turning it into something completely bespoke for you and your firm. And then I show you how to price that and then market it to attract those high value clients. I absolutely obsess over profit, cash flow, and what it takes to run a secure, sustainable business. Sadly, the majority of my peers do not. I'm not an accountant or a bookkeeper. What I have done is for 15 years run my own business, and for over 10 years worked specifically with the financial professional industry. And I've watched all my peers struggle who are not accountants, and I've watched accountants have this amazing experience and education and ways that they can help business owners, but aren't actually doing that. So I've combined both of those together to fix a problem I've seen in the market. It's a problem that you've been hearing about for years. Everyone's told you to be a business advisor, but nobody's really showing you how to do it. They're just giving you software, or they're just telling you, hey, use this this information that's duplicated across everyone. I show you how to make yourself unique, right? I used to work with business coaches. I felt that that was the way to help all of these businesses stop going out of business, but then they never fixed the one important thing, which is actually how to run a business that makes money and pays bills and actually gives the business owner a lifestyle. And that's what I teach you to do, taking all of that financial knowledge to actually help these businesses. So I made the shift, and that's why I now work with accountants and bookkeepers. So that's kind of a very quick overview. What I do now is I run a done with you mentorship program. So I hate that. That's very 90s, isn't it? Apologies. What I do with the mentorship program is it's not a coaching program. I don't tell you what you need to do. Actually, it's an implementation program where I tell you what you need to do, and then you bring that work along to me and we work on it together. It's a really, really great program. There's nothing out there in the accounting world like it. And what we do is we take everything inside your head and turn it into an amazing business. And I'm going to show you in today's training how this is done. Now, we are talking about the compliance profit paradox today. But before I dive in, I just want to see who is newbies and who's oldies. Sharon is an oldie indeed. Rachel, you're a newbie. Thank you for joining me. There's others of you that are here that I know that you are an oldie. So Rosalind, Neil, please type in oldie as well, just so that I know and you're engaging. Now, one of the things that I know to be true is that the more you engage in the chat section with me, the more results you're going to get from this webinar. You are choosing to spend an hour with me, okay? 40 minutes to an hour. This might get some of you to leave, but I just want to point this out. Let's say the work that you do, you charge 100, 200, 300 pounds for the work that you do an hour. Okay, I hope it's towards the top end. Likelihood is actually you're charging between 25 and 50 an hour, but that's because you're in the compliance profit paradox. Okay, and I'll share more about that in a moment. But if you're spending an hour with me, this should be costing you time and money, because it's money and time that you could be spending somewhere else. Now, what I'm going to share with you today will dramatically change the way that you run or launch your advisory practice. It will make things completely better. That's such a simple word. It will make things better. And by better, I mean that you'll be able to work less hours, earn more money, have a better life. But it will only actually change if you go from the knowing, doing gap, right? So you're going to know how to change your practice, but if you don't take action, it's not going to work. So the reason why I want you properly engaged today is to make sure you go close that knowing, doing gap, because you know you need to do advisory. Now you need to actually do it. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be talking to you about today, and you please will make notes and take massive action. So to start with, I want to talk about the compliance profit paradox. This is the structural trap that keeps accountants, bookkeepers, and finance pros like you working harder for less reward, even as firms appear to grow. So what this is your revenue grows, your number of team members grow, the number of clients grow, but does your profit grow? Okay, I want to talk to you about the invisible equation behind the traditional accounting model, because every increase that comes through compliance work will create an equal or greater increase in time, cost, and pressure. Now, I just want you to think about that for a moment, because you will be thinking every single day, I need to get more clients. I need to drive revenue. I need to grow my practice. I need to get my practice to earn more money so that one day I can sell it. However, when you do this, when you come from the place of the traditional compliance model, you are leaving profit and fulfillment flat or declining. So the work that you're doing for your clients is going to get worse, your profit is going to get worse, and everything that you want is going to decline because pressure is going to increase, time is going to go down. This is the paradox that explains why so many firm owners reach 300K, 500K. I've even had firms that are $1 million in revenue, but the owner is exhausted, underpaid, and feels trapped. And I talk about it being on the hamster wheel. I talk about being trapped as a compliance owner. All of this different language is so true, because it doesn't matter how much revenue your firm has, you are not having a better life. You get more money and you make actually less money personally. So more money in the business, but less for you. More time in the business, less time for you. More pressure in the business, less relief for you, the more money you make. And that is the traditional compliance model. Great. We've now got some people commenting, Odie, thank you. Good to see you all. All right. So what happens is when we run the traditional model, and I'm sure you've heard this before, but there is a saying that you have to hear something 7 times to hear it for the first time. So I'm just going to say it one more time so that you actually hear it. You're scaling your workload, but you aren't scaling your value. So you're building these compliance machines that generate more output, but not more outcome for your clients. So the harder that you push in your business, the less freedom you are creating for yourself. But the harder you push forward with compliance, the less freedom you're creating for your potential clients as well. So this is the compliance profit paradox, which is revenue goes up, costs go up. So I don't know which of the softwares actually do this for you at the moment, but every time you take on a new client, you actually have to add them to different software, okay, to make all of the compliance work beautifully. Every 10 clients, your cost goes up, or every time you go into a new bracket, your costs go up. Same with team. Once you have 10 clients, you need another bookkeeper. Once you have 50 clients, you need another accountant. Once you have 100 clients, you need another manager to manage the accountants, to manage the bookkeepers. Everything goes up the more money you make when you are working with compliance, because you're charging a small amount of money and you're doing the work for clients. Your time will always be huge. It's really difficult to pull you out of the business. I know a lot of my peers talk about how to get you to work on the business rather than in the business, how to pull yourself out so you're a CEO instead of actually being stuck in the business. Well, that's easier said than done. And you only need one of your team members to be off sick and you're back in that business. So actually, the compliance profit paradox, the whole business model is broken. Now, what we need to do is tip it on its head, because we need to make sure that we're focusing on profits. Gone are the days where we have an accounting firm that we're going to sell one day. Yes, there are a lot of people out there who are buying up small accountancy firms, but you're not getting the money that you used to get for it. Now you're getting 1 times, but you used to be able to get 2, 3, 4 times your revenue and 4 times your profit. Now it's just not happening. And a lot of the people who have got these older firms that have good revenue, a lot of those people are finding that their clients, heaven forbid, are actually dying or closing their businesses. Because if you've got a big old firm, your clients are going to be the things that are going to start churning. And it's not because they don't actually want to work with you, because you don't charge them much money anyway. It's because they're getting old or they're selling their businesses. So this is the problem with the compliance profit paradox. Everywhere points to, it isn't a great business model. You go from startup, you go into grow up, you go into scale up, and what happens? Your revenue goes up and your profit goes down. So what do we need to do? Well, we need to change that. Now, there's some ways to change it, but most of these growth solutions fail. So the first reason why is because they treat advisory, or you guys treat advisory, as a bolt-on to compliance and not a shift in your business model. So we need to change that thinking. The second thing is that marketing consultants, which, by the way, I used to predominantly be a marketing consultant. Now I help you with advisory in your business model. But I used to be a marketing consultant and I used to teach lead generation. But that accelerated the compliance treadmill. So I now have clients that I worked with in 2019 coming back to work with me. And this is terrible, really, because they come back to work with me because I gave them the wrong solution to their need to grow their revenue, right? So they would come to me and say, hey, Amanda, I need more clients. And I'm really good at helping people get clients. Like, I can do that with my eyes closed. And I showed people how to go from 200K revenue to adding 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 clients in a year, maybe even more than that, right? Lead generation was easy. And I have over 100 testimonials telling people how I help people grow their revenue. But that accelerated the compliance treadmill. They're now coming back to me because it's like, actually, we fixed the wrong thing. I don't want revenue. I want profit and time, Amanda. And the profit and time is a thing that all of you want, right? Now, you then have efficiency experts, and efficiency experts optimize systems, but these are designed to deliver low value work faster. So when someone reaches out to me and says, hey, I'm really good at helping an accounting firm systemize, or hey, I have this great way that you can implement AI in your business to help free up the time, that's okay. But actually what it does is it helps you deliver the low value work faster. And we don't want to be selling the low value work. Then you've got general coaches. These are your general business coaches. They tend to focus more on mindset and getting you whipped up into a frenzy that you can do this. And this leaves the operational model untouched. And this is something that we need to be focusing on. Software providers, right? They automate chaos rather than eliminate it, because if we automate compliance, then we're still doing compliance. The freedom practice model, which is the thing that I teach my clients and help you implement, does what none of these can. It re-architects the firm around profit, value, and confidence. They're the 3 things that we work on. And you don't fix the compliance profit paradox by adding in another process, by sorting out your mindset, although mindset's very important to switch to, actually, I don't want to grow something with really high revenue but no profit. You need the mindset switch for actually high profits. Don't worry about the revenue. You actually fix it by changing the equation. So offering productized business advisory services is the best way to escape the compliance profit paradox. And if you would like to go, oh, do you know what? I don't want to do this compliance work. I don't want to have to worry about hiring another team member. I don't want to have to get more clients in because I'm churning clients, because I'm having to compete on price, because people are charging less, because they're offshoring and outsourcing, or AI is taking over, or clients think that they can do it themselves, right? All of those things are pointing at why you're being squeezed on price. So we have to escape it. So this is why you have to escape it. It's not just about the profit. It's about the fact that actually the productized business advisory services are absolutely in demand. So small and medium-sized business owners, they're in business to make money and save money and make the most of their money. They need you, or if they don't have you, someone who understands the numbers, to guide them and ensure that they actually grow their business in a way that they want to, that they can pay payroll, that they can actually enjoy their life, that they can actually take enough money out of the business. And you won't do that. You won't be able to help these people if you just do compliance work. The second one is because business advisory is valued and valuable. Now, I talk a lot, I'm just going to stop sharing for a minute. I talk a lot about the brown envelope. Okay, so not all of you are based here in the UK, but if you're based in the UK, you know that HMRC send through brown envelopes. That and speeding tickets, right? That's what you get in a brown envelope. So, not that I have many speeding tickets. So HMRC will send you through a brown envelope. And I can guarantee that when a business owner gets a brown envelope through the door, they go, oh, what's happening? What do I need to do? Do I need to do my personal assessment? Do I need to pay a tax bill? How much tax am I going to have to pay? And they open this envelope going, yuck. And then what they do is they email you and they go, hey, Paul, I've had the brown envelope. They might not use that language. I've just had a letter from HMRC, they might decide to say. It tells me that I owe this much money. What do I have to do? And you'll go, you need to do this. And then you're going to send them a bill. You might send them a bill beforehand. They might be paying you monthly. You might send them a bill afterwards. You need to do your year end. You need to submit your personal tax. Oh, how do I do that? Can you do my personal tax assessment for me? All of these things, right? That brown envelope brings dread to a business owner. And they can't shout at HMRC or whatever country you're in, the equivalent of. They can't shout at them. So what do? They shoot the messenger. It's you. Buying compliance services is a chore. It's a cost, and they resent it. Now I want you to switch that on its head and think about when someone engages you, that they're engaging you for something uplifting. And uplifting could be helping you grow the business. It could be helping you reduce that tax that they don't want to pay, right? It could be that you're going to help guide them and support them through an exit. It could be that you're going to help them get their numbers up to date. It could be that they have horrendously messy books and they have no idea how much money they've got, and you're going to help them get them out of that pickle. That is why it is so important to be a business advisor. Business advisory is valued and valuable, whereas compliance is that brown envelope that we don't like. Is this resonating? Does this make sense to you? Now, I'm a business owner, and when I get that brown envelope, and also, right, when my children get the brown envelope, I feel like I need to steam that envelope open first so that I can see whether or not it's good news or bad news, and then wait to tell them what's happening. Very rarely do we get a brown envelope and get excited, right? And as I said, it's either a speeding ticket or it's HMRC. But is this resonating? Because this is what we need to understand. There's an emotional guidance scale. And the emotional guidance scale, we have low emotions and high emotions. Low emotions are anger, frustration, fear. High emotions are freedom, joy, excitement, right? When we do compliance, when you do compliance and we have to pay you for compliance, we're down in anger, frustration, and fear. When we buy advisory services, we're buying hope and freedom and joy and excitement, all of those things. So it's a completely different emotion. We're happy to spend money on emotions that make us feel good. We hate spending money on emotions that make us feel bad. We want to escape the bad emotions and go into good emotions, which is why you can charge way more for advisory services and why the value is seen and being there, right? So Business Advisor Academy clients that I work with are charging between 1.5 to 6K a month for their advisory services. They have an average of 21 clients per firm, and they make about 504K in revenue a year with delivery hours less than 10 hours a week combined. That's client delivery. That's not marketing, and that's not admin, okay? So client delivery is about 10 hours a week combined. What I would say to you is if you are doing compliance work, you're probably doing 40, 50 or 60 hours. If you have managed to get a team, they're each doing 40 hours a week. It is hard blooming work, okay? Now, reason 3, I think, is a really big and very important reason. It's why I do what I do. You're going to have a bigger impact and bring more value to your clients, businesses, and their lives. So when you work with a business owner, they started their business with a dream. And instead of you going, hey, do you know what? This is what happened in your business last year. They want to actually go, oh, this is what could happen in your business next year. They have a dream and they need you to take them on that dream. This is what they really want. And this is why business advisory is so important. Now, the other thing that productized business advisory services do, it means that you can spend less time marketing and relying on referrals. So you spend more time on making a difference because you only need 21 clients to make 500K on average. Okay. Some may have a few more, some actually have a few less. My client, Kevin, he has 16 clients paying him on average $2,000 a month. That gives him an amazing life. And he finishes work at 3 o'clock every single day. Kevin is a real person. I've worked with him for 4 years. Maybe 5, actually. We're in 26. He's amazing. He listened to everything I asked him to do. He productizes advisory services. You can find him under Kevin D. Bannister. If you Google his name, it will bring up his website. Now, the other great thing about advisory clients is that they have a very high retention rate because you don't need to be going, oh, I just need $2,000 from you every year. You say that you want a couple of grand from them every single month. You then get them to take massive action. You get them to get great results, and they want to keep giving you money because they're having such great results from the work that you're doing together. And then finally, there's way more fun. The work-life balance is way more fun. I don't know if any of you know Alistair Barlow. I worked with him back in 2018, 2019. And that's when he first started going snowboarding and skiing with Flinders. So when we first worked together, he came to me to help him get clients. But actually what we did is we created the signature system that became the foundation of everything in that business. Now, he was a startup. He'd only been working for 6 months with his business partner, and he came to me as a startup. And instead of building a practice and getting compliance clients first, he actually said to me, let's go and get good clients. Let's do the right marketing to attract the right ideal clients. But marketing doesn't start with what you put out there. Marketing starts with what you create inside your practice in regards to who's an ideal client, what is the methodology you help people with, how do you transform people's lives. That is the basis of your marketing, not, oh, I'm going to go get clients and I'll come back and sort that bit out separately, okay, later. So with that in mind, I just want to talk you through what exactly productized business advisory services are. So they are a structured CFO coaching, mentoring, advising, teaching as well. You can put that under there, style service. So the best way to actually deliver this kind of structure is to meet with clients monthly and get guide decisions using the numbers. Now, you're best placed to use these numbers. And the reason why is because when I used to be a business coach for business coaches and for other businesses, I worked with health and wellness businesses, I worked with hairdressers, I worked with all sorts of businesses. But as a business coach, it's really difficult to extract the numbers from a client. Because they don't want to share them, right? They're scared to share them. They're scared to be judged. If you think about why you don't like, so if I said to you guys, hey, can you just all put in the chat box what your revenue is? You'd be like, no, I'm not doing that. Why would I do that? Like, I don't feel I'm in a safe place. I don't know why I should be doing that. That doesn't feel relevant to what we're talking about today, Amanda. Okay. And that's what happens a lot of the time when business coaches and other coaches and people go and offer to help businesses, okay? And these businesses don't feel that that's relevant for what they have asked the coach to do. However, you can guide and meet with clients monthly because you have access to their numbers already. They already have pretty much laid themselves bare. They have no armor to protect them. You can see inside their books. You can see inside their soul. You can see inside everything that's happened in their business, which is why you're best placed to guide them around these numbers. So you can have clear outcomes. You can have a fixed fee. It's not about running reports. It's not about doing the compliance work. It's the financial leadership that drives growth because you have the insights and the access to what is going on inside their business. So you become part expert, part knowledgeable person, and part guide. And your job is to bring clarity through the numbers, insight, and through your experience. And the insight's a really interesting one because a lot of people say to me, oh, Amanda, I don't want a niche. I don't want to choose an ideal client. And I say back, how can you have insights over a client's profession if you are working with lots of professions? Okay. Now, I think what I do is a really good example. Every single person who comes to work with me, they come to work with me because I've worked with over 800 accountants in a almost one-on-one capacity. All right. Now, if you had somebody else doing this presentation that had only ever worked with one other accountant, you probably wouldn't trust that person quite as much because they don't have the insights, and this is the magic point, the insights to how the business runs. I couldn't talk about the compliance profit paradox if I hadn't worked with over 800 of you and watched it in black and white, right? So what we do is we get clarity through the numbers, insight, and experience, and then you guide people and get them to decide, act, and move forward as someone who goes, do you know what? You've got this. You can, I believe in you. There's grounded hope. There's security here. I've done this many times. I'm going to guide you. And a productized advisory framework combines both of these things, expert and guide. So you have a clear framework, you have a defined outcome, and a repeatable way to create results for your clients. And when you master productizing, you stop selling time and start commanding those advisory fees. So this is what it looks like in practice. This is the advisory flywheel. So first of all, when we decide how are we going to help our clients, we have to clarify the value that we're going to help them with. So we define the measurable outcomes that your advice is going to produce. So if you think you're doing advisory now, you probably aren't. You're probably just putting a plaster on people's problems when they bring their problems to you, which is one of the reasons why a lot of you don't charge enough for it and also give it away for free. So we have to clarify that value. We have to define the measurable outcomes your advice produces. Then what we have to do is package and price that value and turn that value into structured premium offers. Now, I'm not talking about bronze, silver, gold. I'm just going to stop because I'm going to teach around this bit too, right? This is the other thing as well. As an advisor, you need to do some teaching because you need to help people shift their mindset and understand why they have to take this action. So in one of my podcast episodes, I talk about why you shouldn't create bronze, silver, gold packages. So go and look that up if you want to actually spend 20 minutes to listen to me talking about it, but I'll quickly give you an overview now. So bronze, silver, gold. If you have bronze, silver, and gold, what tends to happen is the gold one is you throw everything and the kitchen sink in with it. Okay. So you have more conversations, you do more compliance, you do more for the client. It's just like piling more and more and more in. The bronze ones is a little bit, I can help you a little bit, but I'm going to miss some bits out. And the silver one is often priced as, well, the bronze one seems like it's not enough. And the gold one feels like it's so much and it's really expensive. So I'm going to choose the silver. And that's why I'm making that decision. And now that has been proven to work. It works really well when you buy an Apple computer. It works quite well when you sell compliance. It doesn't work well when you do advisory. And the reason for this is nobody wants to buy half a solution. Okay, nobody wants to go, oh, well, I would really like to grow my profits, but actually I can't afford to grow my profits. So I'm going to buy the bronze one and that will let me have a conversation with you every week. Like that just doesn't work. So what we need to do is price in a different way. And we need to create packages in a different way. And one of the ways that I get my clients to do it, I'm just going to go back to the document now. One of the ways that I get my clients to do it is to have 3 offers. I have no problem with 3 offers, right? Because not everybody is ready to invest $2,000 a month and work with you for the rest of their lives. But what we do is we actually create offers around a full and remarkable experience. So each of the offers are still gold, gold, and gold, but they're just different parts of your methodology. So what we might do is we would create a signature methodology, okay, and we'd turn that into a structured package. And we might take one of the strategies out of your methodology and provide a full and remarkable solution around that strategy alone. And that could be a VIP day. We might then take 3 strategies, the first 3 strategies, and that might be a 90-day engagement of working with you. Now, that is a full and remarkable solution. You can do that work with the client and they don't need you anymore. Then you could have like the 12-month or the 36-month offer, and that could work really well. And that's all of your methodology. But it's not missing anything out. Each strategy that we create in your signature methodology that you're going to have will be a full and remarkable solution in itself. Put it all together, it's a transformation. Okay, so if they buy the whole thing, it's a transformation, but each of the different strategies split up is a full and remarkable solution. Is this making sense? Can you just let me know in the chat box if you've got any questions to help you clarify? Help me help you clarify. Makes perfect sense. Great, amazing. So what I then want you to do is, once we've packaged all this up, and once you've packaged all this up, you need to communicate this confidently, because actually confidence sells. It's as simple as that. The difference between someone who charges $6,000 a month and $2,000 a month for services and £500 a month is not always what they do in that time and what they deliver. A lot of the time is the confidence of the person selling it. And confidence only comes when you have belief in your product and your services. So a lot of people only sell compliance because you've been trained on how to do that. You've studied the exams. You've got a stamp that, hey, you are a competent compliance accountant or bookkeeper or CFO, right? Stamp, boom, you've got it. Okay, I'm confident I can do that, which is why you sell it. Then you've got people like me that must drive you completely nuts going, oh, I'm sorry, what you've just said that you can do is not good enough. What you need to do actually instead is be an advisor, which you've never had any training on. You've got no idea what it really means anyway. You don't know how to show up with clients. You feel completely lacking in confidence, and you're going to go and buy a piece of software and expect to be able to charge $2,000 a month for it. No. We have to get clear on your value, your experience. We have to build that confidence in you. And when you have that confidence, that's when you can start to charge $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 or $6,000 a month for your services. Then what happens is we take it to market. So you confidently say, right, my offer is $2,000 a month. We'll work together for 12 months. That's 24K plus VAT. Would you like to start now? Would you like to start Wednesday? When you say that confidently, people will buy from you. Then you start to deliver results. And those delivery of results mean that you can start to systemize it and have consistent outcomes. What we don't do is systemize everything before we've got proof of concept. All right. We then demonstrate our impact and use client results to attract more ideal clients. Then what we do is we clarify the value again. We tweak our packaging and pricing. We get even more confident. So how I show up now doing these webinars, I do like to have slides because it really helps me think about what I want to say. But I could sit and rant at you guys for an hour talking about this stuff because I am so confident because I've got great results for my clients. Confidence doesn't come from going, oh, I'm going to keep it all in my head. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to uncover my value. Confidence doesn't come from charging £500 a month and hoping you're doing it right. All right. So this is the advisory flywheel. And one thing that I get a lot of my clients do, and I would suggest that you guys do too, is when you are doing it, if you choose to do this on your own, choose not to do it with me, that's absolutely fine. You are going to have a pricing problem because you won't know what the value is. You won't have uncovered your value properly. That's the thing that we do. We go very deep on that. But if you're going to do this on your own, then start off and charge at your confidence level, whether that's $500 or $750 a month, or whether or not you give it away. I don't care. All right, give it away. That's fine. That if that's where your confidence level is, give it away, build your confidence. But what I want you to do is with the next client that you have, I want you to charge a bit more. Okay, because you will have had a client and you will have got them a result. I want you to write that result down. I keep a book all the time. I write down everything in my books. Every time a client has a result, every time I get good feedback, I write it down, I keep it. I've got a whole spreadsheet with hundreds of testimonials. Some of those testimonials are, I really loved working with Amanda. She's really nice. Okay. Some of those testimonials are transformational, like I've made $2 million. It's not about that sometimes. Sometimes it's about how do we build our confidence. And whenever I feel like I'm lacking in confidence, I just pull up all these testimonials and I go, boom, I've got this, right? But all of us have that lack of confidence sometimes. So what we do is we keep a list of all of the wins, no matter how big or how small. And then every new client, you put your price up until it comes to a point where it starts to affect your conversion rate. And it starts to affect actually you going, am I charging a bit much for that? All right. So it's very, very easy to charge $2,000 a month. There's business coaches out there charging $5,000 a month and do not have your expertise. So I very much want you to understand that it's a confidence thing that's stopping you from charging what you need to charge. Confidence comes from uncovering the value, delivering the value, and then pricing accordingly. Right. So almost rant over. So new equation of success is this: more clients plus more hours equals more revenue is the old way to do it, more exhaustion. The new equation is more value plus more confidence, which equals more profit and more freedom. Now, I know that all of you want the new equation. I'm not even going to ask who would like the new equation, because I know that you would. You want more value, you want more confidence. Confidence comes from uncovering that value, and then you'll have more profit because you can charge more. Even if you think you are the most confident person in the world, which when it comes to helping people with this, I do feel very confident around it. I still have a mentor and a coach and a guide because I need to build my confidence more. I need to get great results for you because it helps me build my confidence more, right? But once you set this in motion, the flywheel becomes self-sustaining. It becomes something that enables you to have recurring revenue, recurring referrals, and recurring freedom. And like I mentioned to Neil, actually, at the beginning, it's like, oh, I haven't responded because I'm doing my book this week. I'm not doing anything apart from this webinar and my book this week. Oh, I have got a meeting with my accountant at 4:00. But other than that, that's all I'm doing this week. And that's really important, to be able to have time to work on your business and strategize. And so many people out there go, oh, you need to work on your business. Yeah, I'd love to work on my business. I'm too blimmin' busy, unless you have the productized freedom methodology. All right. Compliance demands constant input for diminishing returns. Your profit goes down. So freedom practice model: high revenue, high profit, low time, low costs, because we don't need a huge team to deliver advisory. I run a very, very high revenue, high profit business, and I run it on my own. It's myself and my son. We have a part-time lady who does 2 hours a week, 4 hours, 4 days a week, and she looks after the clients when I'm not there. Okay, that's all that takes. And she makes sure that all of our admin's sorted. My son helps with marketing, but he's with me a lot of the time to learn, so he can then launch his own business and find out what he wants to do. He's really into AI and stuff like that. I could run this business on my own, right? I totally could. I choose to leverage a couple of people so that I can take a whole week off. That's what advisory does. I am an advisor. I do advise around the numbers. I'm advising you around the numbers right now. I'm not an accountant. I could be a bookkeeper. Anyone can call themselves a bookkeeper. Anyone can call themselves an accountant. I don't do that, but I'm very good at it. But I want you to understand that the freedom practice model is something like Kevin does, finishes at 3 every day, has 16 clients, paying him $2,000 a month. What a great model. All profit. He doesn't have a team. He does not have a team. He has a couple of people helping with the compliance side. But by a couple of people, I mean part-time, working on and off with him, not like him employing them full-time. All right. So why do business owners hire business advisors? Well, they need better leadership, confidence, and planning. They need faster or more consistent growth, access to expertise they don't have in-house. A lot of the time, CFOs, right? They can't afford a CFO. Support through uncertainty and complexity, whether that's the economy, financial uncertainty, all of those things, and accountability and action focused instead of isolation. All of you need that as well, right? More shockingly, though, and this is what really gets me, nearly 40% of new UK businesses have closed within 5 years. The stats for 2025 was something like 90,000 businesses opened, 84,000 closed in 2025. Like, businesses aren't surviving. There's only a 10% survival rate at 10 years. So 90% have closed by year 10, which matches those numbers I've just shared with you. So this is why you have to be an advisor. You have to help clients and their businesses. You have to help you and your business, and you have to help the wider economy. So a productized advisor, not just any old advisory, because it doesn't really work. Productized advisor means that you and your business revenue will rise, and their clients and their businesses' clients will rise with their revenue and profit. They're going to thrive. Their business is going to thrive. The economy is going to thrive. You and your business is going to do better, which means that the wider economy is going to do better, and your client's economy is going to do better. So you're going to have a bigger impact. All of this comes down to one thing: do advisory, not compliance. Compliance doesn't really help clients. It just helps them be compliant. It doesn't really help your business, and it doesn't really help the economy. All right. So business ownership is super hard. Most people fail at it. I've been running my business for 15 years. I've watched people come and go. I've watched people come and go in the accounting profession. My favorite accountant I've ever had, he was amazing. He undercharged. I tried to get him to charge more. You will have heard me say, I think I told you guys last week, I paid him an extra £800 for no reason. I was just like, you're not charging me enough. I wrote him an extra check for £800, right? But he had to go and get a day job because although he was the best accountant I ever had and spent time with me and gave me advice and really worked towards my goals, he did not charge me or the rest of his clients enough money. He gave the advisory away for free and ended up getting a day job. So whether or not we say business ownership is hard or even running an accounting firm is hard, it absolutely is hard. But if you step into the advisory role, you can save small businesses and the medium-sized business. And successful business is all you want, right? It's all any business owner wants. So once you see this, you can't unsee it, because when you stop building your business around compliance and start building it around productized advisory, everything changes. Your pricing, your positioning, your purpose finally aligns. But more importantly, you affect businesses, your business, clients' businesses, and the economy. You have a much bigger impact. So this is the thing now that I need to talk to you about, whether or not you are qualified to provide business advisory services. And the short answer is yes, but let's just have a look at it, okay? Now, a lot of people, when people like I say, you need to be a business advisor, you think, oh my gosh, that means I have to be a CFO. I have to show up and advise around big things. I don't know if, have any of you seen Spider-Man yet? It came out a couple of days ago. Have you seen Spider-Man? Let me know in the chat box. A huge, like my favorite movie ever. I don't know why I enjoyed it. I really don't. But if you haven't seen it, like cover your ears and cover your eyes, because what I'm about to say is a little bit of a reveal of what it is. But in Spider-Man, they talk about big potatoes and small potatoes. And big potatoes are massive problems. They're big things that need fixing, and small potatoes are little things that need fixing, right? I loved it. It was brilliant. Let me know in the chat box if you've seen Spider-Man. I absolutely come on, tell me. Or if you want to see Spider-Man. Anyway, if you were a CFO for a big business like Microsoft, like Amy Hood is for Microsoft, or Apple or Shell, that would make you a CFO. That would make you a big potato. All right. If, though, you are a business advisor, a small business advisor for a digital marketing agency, and you were charging 24K a year, that would be you helping small potatoes. All right. So let's just go back one. Here, Amy gets paid 26 million a year for the work that she does. You're just asking for 24K. So a lot of your fear about showing up and being able to take action and be this business advisor comes from, this is what you think you should be doing, but actually this is what you should be doing. A small business advisor needs a completely different set of skills. They need you to be trustworthy, have empathy for what they're going through, and be a good listener. Sharon says, not for me, thanks. Oh, I love it, Sharon. But then I have a boy, right? My boy is 24. He's really geeky, and my daughter loves it as well. We're just film buffs in our family. But what it means to be a good business advisor is you need to be able to explain the financials in a way that makes sense to non-financial business owners. And this is why when I work with my clients, we always tweak their signature system that they create. So they go away, they put down on a piece of paper their first example of a signature system. It comes back to me and I go, what? Oh, that doesn't make a lot of sense to the mere business owner, does it? It makes sense to you, but nobody understands what MTD is, right? Nobody understands these things. We have to use language that actually makes sense to a non-financial business owner. So to be a successful business advisor, you need to be someone that can get clients to take action and influence clients. So in my new book that I am proofing and tweaking, this one here, The Relationship Economy, if you haven't pre-registered to get a copy of it, go to amandasnewbook.com. But in my book here, I talk about the 4 things that you have to do to get clients to take action. And because there's this big knowing, doing gap, you know what to do, but you're not taking the action. And those 4 things are, they have to feel safe, they have to borrow belief, they have to have grounded hope, and they have to have accountability with care. Now, those are the things that you need to be as a business advisor. And I cover it more in the book. So please do go and get your free copy, amandasnewbook.com. It should be up there. You should be able to get your free copy. As you can see, being a small business owner requires a much different skill set than being a CFO for a large corporation. So I'm not asking you to be Amy Hood. I'm asking you to be Andy Page, Sharon Hirsch, and to take your heart and your relationships with your clients and help them take action using the numbers. So a small business advisor will be successful when you can guide a business owner through a transformation to hit their goals, can position your services in a way that generates premium clients that value you, and you can deliver it in a packaged way so it doesn't take up too much of your time or your client's time. Their time is just as precious as yours. So our clients do this and they command fees anywhere between 1 and 5K or more a month. So Karen, she's based in the States, so it's slightly different for UK folk, but she charges $6,000 a month for her advisory services for non-profits. I just want to share that with you, non-profits, okay? So to get a business owner to pay between 1,000 and 5,000 a month, you have to demonstrate to them that you're able to help them have a growing and successful business that's going to give them time and money freedom. We have to sell time and money freedom. People aren't going to spend 5,000 a month on fixing a leaking tap. All right. We have to give them time and money freedom. And if you do it, you're going to have more clients than you can handle. So we have to go and close that gap and guide them across the gap between where they are and where they want to be. Now, a lot of business owners, it's not a hobby. If you work with business owners that have a hobby, then that's not a good idea. They're not going to want to buy advisory, right? But what you want to do is you want to show them that actually having a business and to have impact and legacy that they want to leave, they need to close that gap. So you have to demonstrate that you can help them do this and get that gap to be much smaller. You have to be seen as their strategic advisor that helps them have a better business and life, not just the compliance-based accountant or bookkeeper. Then they're going to pay you. And when you help them in this way, they're going to pay you really well. You can still do the compliance work. I'm not saying don't do that. It's called hybrid advisory, and it's do the compliance work. I'm a big believer, garbage in, garbage out. So if we've got really bad books, it's very difficult to be a good advisor. All right. So garbage in, garbage out, take that into consideration. But if you've only got 16 to 20 clients, you can easily do the compliance work for them. You can do great compliance work. You can have a bookkeeper supporting you. You can have someone who understands the account supporting you. If they can sign off year end, that would be amazing, because that means you don't have to touch the compliance at all. That's 2 employees and you 500K a year in revenue. That gives you about 400K profit. And then once you take that out of the business, you're taking home 200K after tax, depending if you take it on salary or dividends. I'm not going to teach you to suck eggs. All right. So to provide business advisory services in the most efficient way possible, you have to productize. It's the same framework for each of your clients. So you have this framework, but you take into consideration the client's business underneath the framework. This allows you to leverage your time and scale your impact. And using the freedom practice model, you should be able to do it in 10 hours a week or less. I actually serve over 50 clients every single week in 6 hours a week. On average, sometimes it's 7, sometimes it's 5, and that enables me to have a very successful business. So you have to be very effective and show how you get results, and you have to have your intellectual property that's in your head that you've done many, many times with your clients, and create a complete productized advisory operating system that enables these small businesses to increase their profits, cash flow. Okay. With regards to how much money my clients make, I've had clients that come to me that already have £1 million business. I have clients who don't have a business at all. What I know to be true is the ones who have £1 million business have a really horrible business model. Too many team. They might have, for £1 million, you might have a 25, 30 team members or more, right? You might find that you have hundreds of clients. That is a really big ship that we have to move and change. The clients who come to me that are about to launch a business or have launched and have revenue of maybe 50, 100, 150, 200K, that's a much easier ship to put on the correct course. So whilst it works with all different sizes of businesses, if you're sitting here going, oh, I just need to get clients first, that's not ideal. The best thing to do is to actually package up your advisory and sell that, and then have the compliance as the add-on. All right. That will make you millions of pounds. That will make you 500K. It will make you 100K, whatever it is that you want to make. But what is more important, and this I know is completely what you need to get your time back. You need to work less hours in client delivery, and you need fewer clients and higher revenue. Best time to do that is as you're launching your business. Second best time is like when you really don't want to work as many hours as you do. So if you would like higher revenue with fewer clients, if you'd like to take home more money, if you'd like to make a bigger impact, and you'd like to have an advisory offer that you can charge 1 to 5K a month for, and if you'd like to leverage your experience and education in a way that serves you, then I'm going to share with you how my clients do this. So this is the methodology that we use to actually extract everything that you know about advisory, right? So first of all, we create the offer, then we sell the offer, and then we deliver the offer. The first thing that we have to do is understand who your ideal client is. And do you remember where I said that you will make a bigger impact if you have a niche? It is so true. If I'd only ever worked with one accounting firm, there's no way I could talk to you guys like I do and share and transform your businesses like I do. Because I've worked with hundreds of you, I can absolutely explain what the message is that I'm trying to get across. I can share examples and case studies. And yeah, no, I didn't have that to start with. I only had one accounting client, then I had two, then I had three, then I had 10, then I had 20. But it took me a few years to get to the point where I really had strong case studies. But that's okay. It's a marathon, not a sprint, right? It's a journey that we're going on. Then we design our productized method and map out our high value offer. You don't want to wait to do this. You want to do this before you launch your business. And if you don't do it before you launch your business, then you want to do it once you've launched your business as quickly as possible. Then we have to actually sell our advisory offer, because what we get down on paper, we don't know necessarily that it's worked unless you've been doing advisory ad hoc and you want to package it all up. So we don't know that it works. We have to take it to market. The only way we can take it to market is to know who we're marketing to. So we have to fill the pipeline of our ideal audience. We have to have that content machine in place and sign premium clients with ease. What I'm doing today, this webinar, is part of the content machine. One of the things I talk a lot about is the traffic light method. If you go and listen to the Traffic Light Method podcast, that will explain what a content machine looks like, all right? So there's lots and lots of different things that you can go and listen to after watching this webinar, all right? And then finally, we have to really get delivery well done. God, that's a horrible sentence. So that we can deliver it in less than 10 hours a week, okay? So that means that we have to step into becoming the advisors. We have to have advisory skills. A lot of people say, oh, Amanda, I've not delivered advisory before. I don't know how to do it. My answer is, you've been giving it away for free every time you talk to a client. Let's show you how to step into becoming the advisor, and we have the training around that. Then we deploy your advisory operating system, which is tools and templates that you will create during your productizing methodology. And then we expand your advisory offering. So that might be that you start with just selling a VIP day or a 3-month advisory offer, or even a 12-month advisory offer. Then we go, well, that's working. What's the next thing that we're going to sell? And start to build up your sales in that way. So these are the takeaways that I want to go through with you today. All right, this is the thing. So this is where you really do want to make notes. First of all, businesses don't fail because business owners aren't trying. They fail because they don't know what to do next. Often it's because they don't understand their numbers. They need someone to tell them what to focus on, and they need someone to build a business that actually grows. You can help with all of that. You already are expected to be the person to do that. They trust you with their numbers. If you positioned yourself as a compliance accountant, they might not understand that you could also be an advisor, but you need to step fully into that advisory role. When you do, you stop competing on price, and you can charge way more than compliance has ever allowed. And by the way, compliance is only becoming more commoditized, even though that breaks my heart, okay? When you step into becoming the trusted guide, the expert, the mentor, the trainer, your entire practice changes. Growth becomes easier because you're selling outcomes and not hours. Fees go up and delivery gets lighter. So one thing that I know is that the average amount, if you like working by the hour, if you do advisory, most of my clients, if they work out per hour what it is around £411 an hour. Would you ever charge that kind of money? Would you? Would you ever charge £411 an hour? Would a client pay £411 an hour for advisory or for compliance work? No, probably not. So what we need to do is package it up and showcase the value so they don't even think about charging by the hour. So with a productized advisory service, you stop the custom work and you serve more clients in less time with more impact. That's how you earn more and work less, okay? So remember, small business advisor, you have to transform a client and help them hit their goals. Position your services in a way that generates premium clients, and you can deliver it in a packaged way so it doesn't take up too much time. So if you're interested, I'm just going to share how we help people with that. We've got about 6 minutes left. If you've got what you need from this webinar, feel free to log off. If you want to stay and be nosy and how I help clients with this, then please stay and be nosy. All right, I run a Done With You advisory program for accountants, bookkeepers, CFOs, and financial professionals. Even if you've worked with me before, where we've worked together on getting you clients, this is a completely different way that I work with people. We show you step by step on how to uncover your intellectual property and build, position, and sell a productized advisory service. It doesn't matter if you're a startup or you run a £2 million firm, or even if you're a big four. If you are a partner in a bigger firm, you still need to do this. You need to grow your practice, but more importantly, increase your income without taking on more clients, working longer hours, or expanding your team. The program also includes a guarantee. Once you have created your productized offer, if you follow the process I give you, which, by the way, is bespoke to you. A lot of people say to me, oh, Amanda, do you help with marketing? I do, but not every single person is the same, and not every potential client is the same for you. So we give you a marketing plan that is bespoke to you and your business. If you follow that plan, you'll secure at least 3 advisory clients within 6 months of productizing, or you can get your money back. All right, so follow the plan, do the work, get your money back if it doesn't work. All right, program isn't about spending money to learn more. It's about installing a business model that compounds. So if you're going to charge £2,000 a month for your advisory services, that means 3 clients add 72k a year to your practice, 21 clients, and you've hit 500k or more. The investment is teeny tiny compared to the long-term value, and we give payment options as well. Huge proven track record of success. We've helped our clients earn over 47 million. We've created 300 6-figure clients where they've started from almost from scratch. We've had 7 millionaire clients and 4 successful exits out of the people that we've worked with. Now, the majority of you don't want to exit, and the majority of you don't want to be millionaires. And some of you don't even want 6 figures. But if I could give you 3 clients paying you £2,000 a month, and you're only working for 3 clients, that's about 1-2 hours a week. That's really nice, eh? So 1 day a week, and you can have 72k. You can't earn that in practice, right? So the way that we do it is we get, first of all, clear on your niche and your market and the problem. Then in the next 30 to 60 days, we have a productized advisory offer. Then we show you how to get your first advisory client. And then we start to add the recurring revenue of the advisory clients that you have. But more importantly, we start to get rid of those vampire clients and free up your time, because that's what we focus on with the advisory practice. So this is the journey. Join the program, right? Then we solve the niche of what niche do you want? Well, you probably can't decide. So I help you decide that. We've got a whole process to go. Who's my ideal client? And it isn't always an industry, by the way. We do work with clients who don't have a specific industry. We niche in other ways, and I can share that with you. We get clear on your advisory offer. We productize your delivery. We launch and sell your first productized advisory program. We show you how to attract and convert premium clients and get your time back whilst taking home more money. So if you'd like to book a call with me, I'm just going to grab the link. I haven't brought that up. Apologies. If you're an oldie, you know that this is how I function. My admin is terrible. Let me just grab it for you. If you'd like to book a call to how we can help you with that, then there is the link to book that call. If you've got any questions, then send them to me on LinkedIn if you want to. And if you would like any help and you would like to join us in the Leverage program and get your productized advisory offering created, then book a call with me and I can talk that through. Calls are next week, no calls this week, as you know. You're very welcome, Rosalind. And thank you for those of you who have hung around this long and are hanging out with me still. All right, I'll speak to you all soon. Take care. Bye-bye. See you soon. Bye.